Alright, y'all, look. I'm gonna try my best not to make this video one of my longer videos. Usually I don't really script the end of the year list, because if there's one thing that I know, and there's one thing that I really don't have to do a lot of prepping for, is music. That's what I spend most of my year doing, is listening to every new release, from hip hop, R&B, maybe some other genres sprinkled in there. So this is always something that I have fun doing, and I appreciate everybody that went to @DangerousMinds YouTube on Instagram and voted for which list they wanted to see first. So let's get right into it. Before I begin with the list proper, I will do some honorable mentions. I'm gonna be looking down on my phone just to make sure that I get my order and everything right. But honorable mentions: El Capo by Jim Jones. Love the production. This is probably like one of the first, as far as like full Jim Jones projects that I've enjoyed. Like, I've always enjoyed him just like every other member of Dipset, but this was the first time I really got into it. From start to finish, I loved everything, just not my top 10 albums. Next, you got You Know What I'm Saying by Danny Brown. This one at number 10, it was like a fight, because I love this album, especially the collaboration with him and Run the Jewels. That's like one of my favorite songs, like as far as pure rap songs of the year. Like, definitely a highlight. One of the best yet, the Gangstar Project, RIP to Guru, one of my favorite MCs of all time. It was amazing to hear the way that DJ Premier was able to put those beats underneath those recordings of Guru that were recorded probably years and years ago, and they still sound fresh. They still sound like they were in the booth putting this together from scratch before the album came out, like he wasn't already gone. I just appreciate that album, album a lot, especially since I'm a big Guru fan. So I wanted to make sure I gave that one a shout out. African Giant by Burna Boy. I'm a big fan of Afrobeat and the music coming out of Africa, different countries like Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, just, different artists like that. And this is like the first time I heard a project from top to bottom and I was just really into. I could put that album in now like I did when it first came out over the summer. I still rock it like ain't nothing, like it just came out. It didn't get old to me in the slightest. And I'm probably still gonna be listening to that one well into 2020 and moving forward. And last but not least, I wanted to give a shout out to Trill Static, Bun B, and Static Selector's collab project. That was like one of the first albums this year that I was really rocking with from start to finish. It hasn't left my phone. The song with Bun B, Method Man, and I can't remember the other artist that was on it, but that's like that song right there. The intro was cool, but that was like the second song after, and I was really hooked after that. And this, from top to bottom, was one of the dopest projects that I've heard this year. But that's enough with that. Now let's get into the list proper. And if you know me, this is all opinion. So you may not agree with the ranking. You may not agree with every album that's on here. You may not agree with some of the albums that are not on here. But like I said, I put my favorite instead of the top albums because it's all what I'm listening to. So in that regard, number 10, Revenge of the Dreamers 3. Like I said, I was debating between this one and You Know What I'm Saying, but I chose this one because I think overall this album got more spins out of me than You Know What I'm Saying. I was a little iffy about it when it first came out, but after riding with it for a little bit longer, because it was a Dreamville project, I was a little taken aback by some of the more trap southern influences. I was looking for more songs like Under the Sun, Sleep Deprived, and my favorite song at the end, Sacrifices. But the more I listened to it, the more I could kind of appreciate the more diverse sound that they were going for. I really do feel like this might be the best Revenge of the Dreamers project. Like I said, my favorite song, because I'm gonna give y'all my favorite song, my least favorite song off of each project. My favorite song would have had to have been Sacrifices, especially J. Cole's verse on that. Everybody kills it. Saba, Smino, two others that really stand out to me. I love their verses, but J. Cole's was amazing. It's probably my favorite verse on the entire project, one of my favorite verses of the year. But my least favorite song would have to be the song Sunset, just because it's just J. Cole, and I can't even remember who the other guy was. Their performances were like kind of lackluster. It's definitely the song that I hit skip on. Like, I think I listened to, for the most part, all of the songs on Revenge of the Dreamers 3, but that was the one song that it never stuck with me. Like, I try to listen to it now like I did when it first came out, just can't get into it. So that's my number 10. Number 9 is He Real by IDK. I don't really know too much about IDK. My boy tried to put me on to him with his last project that came out maybe a year or two before this one. I tried to get into it. I don't really think I gave it a chance, but this project right here had me hooked. I really like the messaging, him being very conflicted about religion and the existence of God, while throwing in these other themes. I did see with like certain reviews, people said it was a little surface level, and people are gonna have those opinions when you talk about something as big as religion. Anybody that's heard any of my music knows that I dive into those projects a lot too. So that was definitely relatable to me. But at the end of the day, I felt like it was a different kind of take on it. My favorite song, it's actually a tie between two of the shortest, but like I feel like very energetic, really got me pumped when I listened to it. Like, I really fell in love with these songs from the beginning, which was 1,400 choices. I mean, no, not 1,400, 4,200 choices, excuse me. And 24, those two songs, because they're so short, I'm running them back constantly. But I love just like the quick energy of it, the pacing. My honorable, I guess a third would be the Porno track with Pusha T and Jid. I really think that song is really dope. Really graphic, but really dope. But my least favorite song off of that project would have to be, if I had to pick one, maybe the Michael TF. Michael What TF, that's what it's called. It was cool. It's at the end of the album, so I guess I really don't think about it much. But if there was any song I would skip, that would probably be the only one. Everything else I'm really like into. Going with number 8. This album I almost forgot came out because of around the time that it came out. I kind of got drowned out by some other releases that came out, some other things that happened. And even for this artist, it was kind of a low-key release in my opinion. But Ventura by Anderson .Paak. Anderson .Paak's one of my favorite artists that have come out in the last 4 years. And this album is definitely a lot more of what I was expecting from him with his last project that came out, maybe a few months before this one. I still like that project a lot, but I think I like this one a lot better just because it was kind of more of what I enjoy from Anderson .Paak's music. Very smooth, very soulful, grown man type of, soul and R&B, with his trademark flavor to it. I love it. My favorite song has to be the one at the very beginning of the album, Coming Home, with Andre 3000. Andre kills his verse as usual. The beat is just so cinematic. Great way to open the project, and it just kind of sets the tone for everything coming forward, after that. I would say my least favorite song would be Twilight. I'm not a big fan of the song with Nate Dogg either, but I think because it's a tribute to Nate Dogg, it's kind of like, especially the end part where he's kind of like leaving the booth, so it's kind of a very, dope, send off for him, like very symbolic send off for him. But I would say the song before that, Twilight, I'm least into. It's not a bad song. If it came on, I wouldn't be so quick to just say, nah, I'm not listening to that, skip it. But it's definitely not as enjoyable for me as other songs on there. Like, I love the track with Brandy. I love even though it's short, I love the feature with Jasmine Sullivan. Songs like King James, Stick Out. It's a lot to love about this project. Honestly, I don't think I gave it as much of a listen, like I said, because it was drowned out by some other releases, a couple of them that I'm gonna get to. And also just because it was so low key, and I think it was because it was going into the summer, I just didn't give it the chance. But after, putting it away for a little bit and then coming back to it, I remembered how much I loved this project. So definitely check it out if you haven't. Number 7, Igor by Tyler the Creator. I would say this album would, to be honest, would be to me like a step down from Flower Boy. Still love this project, don't get me wrong, but I do feel like I enjoyed this one a lot less than I did Flower Boy. Maybe not a lot, but I did enjoy it less than I did Flower Boy. But it's still a great project. I like the narrative thread, kind of like the story of Igor and Igor's love and loss at the end of it, but then coming together with the Are We Still Friends closing track. I think it's a dope, and I'm really big into concept projects like that. And it was nice to see Tyler take that approach with this project. My favorite song is Earthquake. I've loved that song when it first came out. Even after listening to the rest of the project, as great as it is, that's the song that just sticks out the most. I found myself randomly singing that by myself with my mom and my sister. Like, I showed them the music video and they've been hooked on it since. So, that song just stuck with me. My least favorite song, really is hard to pick a least favorite song. I would say maybe like Running Out of Time would be my least favorite, just because when I was thinking about the track list, without even looking at it, that was the one that I just kind of forgot about. Every other song, like, I love it. Boy Is a Gun, the Magic Wand track, Gone, Thank You, Cut, like that was one of my favorites for a while. But not really like a least favorite track. I would just say that this whole project is great. Number 6, I was actually surprised that this album was so low on my list, but I would have to say Eve by Rhapsody. Like, I love this project. I love Rhapsody. I would say like with Tyler's previous release to this year's release, I didn't enjoy this album as much as I enjoyed Layla's Wisdom. I love the concept. Like I said, I love concept albums, and with every song being named after a powerful black woman, and having the songs basically represent them in their themes and lyrics, and even the persona to a certain extent. It's still Rhapsody, but like a certain energy that she brought to each song that matched the person that the song was named after and represented. I thought it was dope. Like I said, I wasn't feeling this one as much as Layla's Wisdom, and I think it might have something to do with another project that's a little higher up on this list, coming out around the same time, where that project got my full attention. Well, with Layla's Wisdom, I was dipping in and out of, but it was just something about it that just didn't hook me the same way. My favorite song from this project would have to be Maya. I was debating against this one and Afeni. Both of those songs are great with dope messages and, of course, dope bars by Rhapsody. But I think Maya stick out to me. I don't know. It's just something about that beat, the hook, just Rhapsody's verses is like, she's killing it. Like, she's killing all over this album. But that one to me just stuck out to me the most. My least favorite song would be Michelle, and really I think I dislike it for one reason and one reason only, and I hate to say this, but Elvana's performance on this track, I wasn't really feeling it. I don't know, just my personal opinion, like the way she decided to tackle the hook with her vocals and everything, just I don't know, it was just really took me out of it from time to time. Like, I'm not saying that I mean, of course she's not a bad singer, she's an amazing singer, but I don't think that the performance on that particular track was one of her best. So that's why that's like my least favorite track. I love Rhapsody's part, I love the production, but whenever Elvana comes in with the hook, it just kind of takes me out of it. Now we're going into the top 5, and I will say that after this, I don't have a least favorite track. That's how much I love these projects. But this particular project just has this one song. It would be damn near perfect if it wasn't for this one song, and that's Chasing Summers by Sir is my number 5 pick. I knew I was gonna love this project, but I didn't realize how much I was gonna love this project. There are some songs on this that, as far as an R&B album, really speaks to me. As far as a soul album, really speaks to me. This is a R&B heavy list because this is a great year for R&B, especially for new artists that were releasing, stuff that I, was not that familiar with, or maybe not that big of a fan before, because I like Sir, but his last couple projects were cool, but they just didn't really hook me like that. But this particular project did. I was really, really enjoying this. My favorite song has to be the song with Sabrina Claudio. Now, everybody's not the biggest fan of her right now. I kind of fell off of her after her, the racist shit that was going on. But I will admit, she was a perfect fit for this song. My least favorite song, like I said, only one song keeps this album from being damn near perfect to me, and that's the song Mood with Zachariah. I'm pretty sure, maybe like Sir, Zachariah will become my cup of tea. I mean, for the most part, TDE ain't really missed when it comes to the artists and the releases that they've put out. But I will say I'm not really the biggest fan of Zachariah. And I just didn't like his hook on that. I don't like his performance on it. And then, I don't know, just everything to me was just so well written, well performed, well done, and that's just the one song that sticks out. That and Lil Wayne's verse on, I think it's called Lucy. I like that song a lot until I hear Lil Wayne's verse, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But the song with Zachariah is probably the one song that makes me go, nah. Number 4, Shea Butter Baby. I'm a big fan of Ari Lennox after this project. Like, I've been riding with this one non-stop. I think this is the album that took my attention away from Ventura. They came out, if not the same week, they came out around the same time. And this album stuck with me a lot more than anything else that came out around that time. I love this album because of my favorite song, New Apartment. I was actually getting into a new apartment around that time, so that was like the perfect soundtrack for me at that time. But even with that, I've been in my apartment for a little while, but I can still go back to that one and I enjoy it just like it just came out. But I really love every song on this project. That's just the one song that stuck out for sentimental reasons, but everything from the title track to the song Broke with Jed to Up Late, Static, just everything from top to bottom. Like I said, after the previous entry, I don't have a least favorite song. I enjoyed this project from top to bottom. I just couldn't choose a song that I didn't like as much as the others. So Ari Lennox, Shea Butter Baby is my number 4. Number 3, Painted. I was a little hesitant to put this one on the list because it's kind of like a compilation project, because he put out EPs previous to this album coming out that had majority of these songs. But there's really just all of those EPs put together with a couple new tracks added. But to be honest, I loved every song on this. And as far as like new artists go, I haven't really been into an artist. My first time listening to him, everything he drops, even with little singles after this project that he's put out this year, I love every single one of them. like I said, I don't have a single song that I could call my least favorite. My favorite track though is really could be any of them at this point. But I would say if I had to pick one, it would be Real Games. Real Games is real dope. And that was a song that just to me solidified like, oh, I'm a fan of this dude. I was really happy to see that, you know, he's kind of really just getting like recognition, and already he's nominated for a Grammy, which I think is dope and is well deserved. When you look at the lay of the land of everything that came out in 2019, he was definitely an artist that stood out and should get that recognition. So Painted by Lucky Daye is my number 3. Number 2, this one, well, like I said, probably is the reason why I didn't give Rhapsody a chance when it first came out, because this is probably an album I've been waiting on since they broke up, and then when they came back together. May the Lord Watch by Little Brother is number 2 on my list. Not only was it so dope to see one of my favorite groups, 2 of my favorite rappers, and just big influences on me as an artist come back together after wanting them to come back together so long. That was a dope feeling. But it was even better to see them come back together and not miss a step. This album feels just as dope as how if they dropped this right after the Minstrel Show, or their DJ Drama mixtapes, or the Chitlin Circuit. This is on that same level of quality. Every song, top to bottom, just feels like it gives you that feeling like they never left. And above all else, I appreciate them the most for that. Like, to know that my favorites could still go out there and rock it the way they did is dope. And this is definitely an album that I will appreciate. They could never come out with anything else, and I will love this album forever. They came back at the perfect time for me, and I appreciate that. But as much as I love this album, and I don't have a favorite, I don't have a least favorite, to be honest, because I love this album top to bottom unconditionally. But if this was any other year, this would definitely be my number 1 album. But nothing, and I knew this from the first time I heard this album, nothing that was gonna come out for the rest of the year was gonna top this album, and I stand by that. And that my number 1 pick is Bandana by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. This album hit me like a ton of bricks. I've been a big fan of Freddie Gibbs for maybe like the last couple years. Just really getting into Pinata. Went back and listened to You Only Live Twice and the Freddie project that he put out last year, which I wasn't really the biggest fan of, but there was some joints in there I really liked. But I did not expect this album to hit me. Like, I don't throw around the word classic. I don't throw around the word like instant classic, definitely. But this album feels like a classic to me. Like, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib is like the perfect blend of rapper and producer. Like, they come together like peanut butter and jelly. Like, every song, like, I'm listening to this album at least once a week. And it's been out for maybe about 6 months now. And it hasn't gotten old to me yet. Songs like Half Main, Half Cocaine, tracks like Situations, Goddamn, Crime Pays. I mean, really from top to bottom. Education, Mos Def, and Black Thought. I mean, Palm Olive with Pusha T and Killer Mike. They did not put a foot wrong on this album. Like I said, it was a classic. This album was robbed by not being nominated for a Grammy. Same as Rhapsody, but this album feels like one of the biggest injustices since Good Kid, Mad City got beat by Macklemore that year. Like, honestly, I don't even know what else you want me to say. You want me to pick a favorite song? I can't pick a favorite fucking song on this album. It's that incredible to me. And I'm just gonna end it right there. That's my top 10 list of my favorite albums to come out in 2019. I know this video is probably long, but fuck it. Enjoy this shit. There will be a Spotify playlist that is gonna come out alongside this video. Make sure you check that out in the description below. Make sure you follow the channel on IG. I'll leave all the links below for that. Make sure y'all tune in for the most disappointing albums of 2019. I promise you that video will not be as long as this video. But until then, it's been your boy Vinnie-Dangerous. See y'all in the new year. Much love.